Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing condos in Thailand and whether or not for a retiree here in Thailand, it's better to rent or buy. Now, to be clear, I sometimes, I put better in quotation marks, but because what works for one may not work for another. Facts, in a given case are going to dictate. And I'm not going to try to tell people what's best for them. Oftentimes I'm wearing my legal guy hat with respect to these videos. This is kind of a little bit more general video than I otherwise make. But it's going to depend. And I have seen circumstances where buying a condo really worked well for certain retirees in Thailand. And I have seen circumstances where it has not worked well at all, where it really was kind of a nightmare for folks. I've seen circumstances where renting was a real problem, oftentimes usually because of like landlord disputes. And then I've also seen circumstances where renting was great. Now, in a lot of ways, we're kind of in a renter's market and a buyer's market for that matter, because there's a lot of bargains to be had out on the real estate market, especially with respect to things like condos. And it's going to depend on your circumstances, but I think most folks can kind of, the biggest problem in the renting side is you end up with a situation in the future where you really like where you live, but the landlord ups the rent and it no longer becomes either feasible or you just don't feel it's worth the cost and you have to move and kind of deal with some of the hassle associated with that. Again, that's just going to depend on your situation. Again, with buying, you may end up in a situation where you've got a condo that long term you don't end up using. Your circumstances may change. Some of that is difficult to predict. Some of it's relatively easy to predict. So depending on your circumstances, that'll kind of drive the analysis as to what's going to be the best way to maintain a domicile here in the Kingdom of Thailand.